Hello everyone, it's Lisa, and I'm here for Sean Petit's creative team, joining you for a Happy New Year. Today I have a piece that I was really struggling with, but I hope you enjoy the techniques along the way. I'm working, of course, with Mdf Board, and this is a 9x12 piece. Lots of scraps that I have dug out from my stash. You can see some maps, some passport pieces, some postcard pieces, just lots of things that I thought would go in the background, kind of symbolizing New Year and trying to work with this piece as it came about. I also have some rubber stamps that I spelled out the word answer, and we'll get to that in a bit. I'm using Sean Petit's stencils. I will list all the different things below, and we'll get just adding down my papers as we always do, putting a little bit of map paper down here, using my map medium. Here looked like some water to me, so it symbolized crossing the ocean to the new year and lots of adventure going forward. Here's some postcards, just putting that down. And here's some passport papers that I ripped out of my old passport. Make sure you save those. They make great backgrounds. And that's symbolizing possibly travel for the new year. And then we have some music sheets, hoping that we sing with joy that great things happen. More music sheets. Don't want to waste any of those scraps. Another postcard. It just really made me think about family and sending out. Of course, we just did the Christmas cards, and here's a little bit of journal paper, and it had the word love on it. And I was happy to get rid of some of the scraps that were in my stash. This is a little scrap of some wood paper, and I thought maybe it symbolized strength. Here I'll show you that I had a great big bubble taking place, and I didn't have enough matte medium there, so I just used my pen blade and cut the paper and then added some matte medium underneath. So that's a real nice way to be able to add more glue if you have a big bubble like I did. Good tip. I'm just filling in those papers, and I really like the background. I think it has some good color and some contrast. And I put that piece of plain paper right there, and I was thinking maybe just a little bit of rest, relaxation, and some calm. Now I'm going to use one of Sean's stencils, and I think it's called Let It Fly, and it has dragonflies and butterflies all over it. And I'm just using some gesso and a brush and covering the whole stencil. Wasn't quite sure what was going to happen with this, but I thought we would probably be able to see the dragonflies and the butterflies in the background. Adding this for texture, something that I had never done before, and who knows, maybe it'll turn out real nice. But as I'm pulling up the stencil, I did rip some of those papers in the background, and we'll fix them in a minute here. Using some stamps that I got at a used craft sale for $1. You can see the package there said $18, so what a great deal that was. Using my VersaFine ink in black and printing out the word answer, because our piece is going to say love is the answer. And I have that maroon piece there in the background that is a stamp pad. Here you can see where I have the ripped collage papers, and I'm trying to fix them with my matte medium and just smoothing it down with my finger. Of course, it'll add texture and it'll look nice. It'll be fine in the end. No one would know. I needed to push back those blues and blacks on the collage paper. So I'm using my palette knife and some gesso and just putting some more texture on there, not to cover all of the dragonflies and the butterflies. You will see them in the end, but I'm just getting them so that they're all together a little bit better. Here's another stencil that we're going to use from Sean, and this one is the Scribbles stencil. I'm using a little bit of washi tape and blocking off some of that stencil. I've been doing that a lot lately, so you can use just pieces of that stencil. The bright yellow I'm using is by Dina Wakley, and it is called Lemon. And I just wanted to go around the edge of the piece and put a little border. It reminded me kind of as frilly lace. And I'm using a makeup sponge. I'll continue all the way around until I've finished. Here it is dry. I'm going to use my trusty friend here, which is burnt umber acrylic paint and some water, and I want to push that background back again and give it some togetherness, I guess. Make it all come together. Using my spray bottle, spraying a little bit and letting it run. This is a technique I use on every piece. I just love it. It works for me. It's a trusty friend with my creativity. Using a towel and going back and forth, putting a little bit more brown. I can still see those dragonflies. Can you? Now everything's dry, and I wanted to put another layer of paint on here. I have hardly any paint left in this tube, and this one is by Artist's Loft, and it's a parchment color. And I just wanted to put that on with my brayer, and I'm covering a little bit of that blue that you can see in the background and making it all come together. It really turns out nicely in the end. So stay with me. Just dabbing it on the edges there. I can still see those butterflies and dragonflies. Now I'm adding a little bit of a different color here, and I wasn't sure, but I had my towel right there in case I did not like it. But this is green gold, and it's a golden fluid acrylic, and this color is amazing. It just mixed with that parchment color, and it just made it pop. You'll see the color in the background at the very end. It was just an added touch that needed to be. And I'm putting a little bit of gesso too, and I'm going to roll that on even while that green is still wet, because it stripes it so beautifully and it mixes in with that green and the parchment, and it makes just a great background. I was happy that I did it in the end. I was a little afraid, but you can always have your towel there in case it gets a little too bright for you. So everything's dry again, and now we're going to work on the sayings. And this one is Find Your True North, and this stencil by Sean is exactly that, Find Your True North. And this was representing how I was feeling about the new year. I really wanted it to be fun and profitable and creative and make new contacts and just get myself out there. So I thought that looked really great up in that right-hand corner. Now this big stencil is one that I got a long time ago, but I use it quite a bit, and it's called, I don't think that it has a name, but it's by Folk Art Company, and I really liked the sayings, the love and home. Home is where the heart is, and you can see that it's well used. So my thought was I was going to use this blue paint and go through the love of the stencil. And then I was going to take a Tim Holtz stencil and go over it with black. And the stencil by Tim Holtz is a plaid stencil. I thought it would give the piece a little bit of wintry texture without going all the way as Christmas plaid. So I'll show you what happens, and you let me know in the comments below if you liked it as the plaid or if you would have done as I did. I actually did not like it. I didn't think it turned out great, and so I'll show you how I fix it. So I'm just dabbing the blue through the stencil with my makeup brush. I'm sorry, makeup sponge. And here we go. We're going to put down the Tim Holtz plaid stencil right on top of the love stencil without picking it up and moving it away from the stencil with the blue paint through it. I thought this would give it a real cool plaid look, and it did, but it was too busy for the image in the upper right hand corner. I thought that it was too distracting. So like I said, you let me know in the comments below. It was a neat technique. I thought it was going to turn out really cool. It did turn out cool, but as I kept going, you'll see I thought it turned out to be a little distracting. Now then I thought, well, I'll fix the Find Your True North by just lightly covering it and pushing it back to the background with a little white gesso. And I thought maybe that was a good fix. So I wanted to continue on and see how the piece would come together. I was going to use the word is and the word the through the stencil. That's a nice thing. Make sure you look through your stencils and see how you can piece together different sentiments with using bits and pieces. So my phrase is going to say, love is the answer. And I believe that if we have enough love in our hearts to give and enough love in our hearts to receive, we can get through anything. I know times are difficult and we miss people that are gone, and people may be sick in our lives or no longer with us, but we can get through it. So I cut up the word that I had put down on my jelly plate paper, and it says answer, and then I'm going to adhere that with my matte medium. Everything is stuck down, and I thought, well, let's use this stencil. I love it, and I believe it's called Numbers Jumble. Yep, I'm correct. And that's by Sean. And this one was around Christmas that she had it come out. And I love using it. I love numbers and letters. And I thought it would symbolize the numbers of the months and years and dates that are coming ahead, things that we can look forward to and get this new year started. And this is where I thought the love was too busy for the piece. I'm still trying to decide. Yep, and I really think it was too busy, so I ended up covering that love up with the black. I just put the stencil back where it was, got my archival ink out and my brush, and went right over the top of it. I was hoping that it would turn out because I spent a lot of time on it so far, and I liked the message it was giving, and I liked the sentiment and the background and everything. I hope I hadn't wrecked it. But we'll see here that it does turn out. It was saved. All was saved. There are some bits of the blue poking through on the background, but I'll fix it with my charcoal pencil, which was my idea. I got out my charcoal pencil and went around everything, gave it a good smudge, and you'll see that we do the black border like Sean likes to do. I really, really like that technique too. And I go all the way around, and then I do add some of those pan pastels in the end. And it was really, really rewarding because I did have kind of that green that went with that golden fluid acrylic, that green gold. And I really thought that it all came together at the end. Like I said, I wasn't quite sure, and I appreciate you sticking in there with me and getting to the end. I added some of that white chalk pastel to the letters to give it some dimension, so it looked like they were a little bit dimensional. And it's a process. You just keep going until your mind says, okay, I like it. So it took a few times, stopping and starting, walking away, going back, sharpening my pencils and getting right back after it. But that's what's fun about it. It's the creative process. You can't rush it. And just like the new year, we just have to wait and see how it turns out. Give it our best, and it'll be what it'll be. I'm smudging that black chalk writer around the edge. Now you could use black distress crayon. You could use black lipstick. I tell my students when we do some of these in classes, anything that's creamy like that. And also black charcoal. You could use your charcoal pencil. Whatever works for you. We don't need lots and lots of supplies. We need lots and lots of ideas. So that's great. More ideas for the new year. I hope everyone's having a wonderful holiday. And thank you, Sean, for letting me create for your design team. And here's where I'm putting down that little bit of pan pastel. I'm really getting into those, and I hope I can add to my collection this new year. I need some greens, some dark greens, and maybe, who knows? There's lots of options. So thank you for watching. Thanks, Sean, for having me. And we'll see you again soon, and talk and create and have a wonderful new year.